Introducing YouTube memberships, a fun way to support the channel while getting some exclusive perks. Click the join button to become a member now and get benefits like badges next to your name on videos, behind-the-scenes photos, advantages during the live trivia game, discounts on merchandise, private one-on-one video chats, the ability to request future video topics, and exclusive 8 to 10 minute videos on the history of the NFL. And now, on with our feature presentation. Andy Reid is one of the greatest coaches of all time. I think that goes without saying. I've raved about him before on this channel many times. His ability to get his guys ready for games, especially coming off of a bye week, is unmatched. His creativity when it comes to designing plays and trusting his coaching staff and players is second to none. No one's got a bad word to say about playing for the man, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer when the time comes, getting in on the very first ballot. Right now, he's 5th all-time in wins with 247, and barring the most shockingly bad season in NFL history, he'll get to 4th and surpass Tom Landry's 250 wins by the time the year is done. He's got 22 playoff wins, which only trails Bill Belichick for the most in NFL history, and he's led his team to a whopping 10 conference championship appearances, 4 Super Bowl appearances, and 2 Super Bowl titles. He is a legend for a reason. But if there's one element of Reid's game that has come into question over the years, maybe not so much in Kansas City, but especially in Philadelphia, and if there's one Achilles heel that he has, it is his somewhat questionable in-game management. Now, he's gotten a lot better at that over the years, but there was a time when it was really bad and would constantly come into question. You have the debacle that happened at the end of the first half of a 1999 game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where he couldn't get the field goal unit on the field in time. You can learn more about that by clicking the card in the upper right corner. You had the bizarre extra point against the New York Giants in 2000 when he kicked it to make an 18-point game a 17-point game, thinking that 17 points was 2 possessions, and only realizing after being questioned by reporters over a course of multiple days that it was not. You can learn more about that by clicking the card in the upper right corner. And there were some of the slowest 2-minute and 4-minute drills imaginable, such as the one he had at Super Bowl 39 and the divisional round with Alex Smith at quarterback against the New England Patriots, where he wasn't operating under the clock rules of Earth, but rather the clock rules of that planet in Interstellar, where 2 minutes is 10 years. And on Thursday night, in the season opener, his in-game management got called into question yet again for a highly questionable thing that he did at the end of the game. For those who aren't watching this in the immediate aftermath of the game, it's September 7th, 2023. It's opening day of a brand new NFL season, and we've got a battle on our hands in front of a national television audience between the Detroit Lions and the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. The good news for the Chiefs is that they get to raise the banner in front of their home fans, marking the first time at Arrowhead Stadium that they've had a true banner-raising ceremony, since they can't really count 3 years ago because the stadium was 20% full due to the pandemic. The bad news was that if they were going to win this game, they were going to have to do it without Chris Jones, their star pass rusher who was holding out, and without tight end Travis Kelce, the future Hall of Famer who was out due to a hyperextended knee. It is a tall order to say the least, and the Chiefs, despite leading 14-7 at the half, were having trouble putting the Lions away, as when they got the ball back with 2:30 left in the contest following a failed 4th down conversion by Detroit, they were trailing 21-20. The good news is that you're only about 1 first down away from a possible go-ahead or game-winning field goal from Harrison Butker. You're in his range, but you need a first down. Don't get a first down, and good luck winning this one. So let's see what happens next.
Mahomes, plenty of time, looking in the middle, it's dropped again by Tony.
Jesus Christ, Kadarius Toney, you stink. You were one of the biggest reasons why the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, and yet you were so bad on this day that you lost all that goodwill. That is actually quite impressive.
And it got him. Good call.
Yep, that's a clear-cut holding penalty. The refs didn't really call holding all day, calling it just twice throughout the contest. But that's as clear as it's going to get. Back him up.
220, Mahomes throws it inside, underneath, incomplete again.
Can anyone on this football team catch a football? I mean, my God, does Mahomes have to do everything out there? Where is Justin Ross at? I mean, come on.
McKinn in the back, in to protect. Mahomes flings it in the middle. It is incomplete. Gardner Johnson went up.
Okay, now we're in trouble. It's 4th and 20. And at this point, the Chiefs, backed up by their own 35-yard line, have two options. Since they have all their timeouts and they still have, to at least some extent, the 2-minute warning. Option 1 is to, quite simply, punt the ball away. Force your defense to make a stop, and then try and get it back and drive down the field with a new set of downs in decent field position to win the game on a game-winning field goal. Or, option 2 is to go for it on 4th and a mile. And Andy Reid decides to leave the offense out there. Let's see what you got dialed up.
Lions bring pressure again. Flag for a false start. 4th and 25. Will Andy reconsider?
A false start? On Jawan Taylor? It's always the ones you least suspect. Okay, now they're really in trouble. 4th and 25. At this point, we are almost in unprecedented territory. Since 1991, so in roughly the last 30 years, there have only been 11 plays on 4th and 25 or longer to result in a first down. One of them was a special teams play, and the other was a play at the end of the half where the Browns just checked it off short since the Chiefs were in prevent defense. So in actuality, we've got 9 plays. 9 plays in more than 30 years. You're going to go against history and try and be the 10th? Nah, you gotta punt here, right? Okay then. You're still gonna go for it. Well then, let's see how this goes.
4th and 25, and Mahomes looking to make a play, flings it across his body, and it is incomplete.
Now I know what you might be thinking, and it's what a lot of people were thinking at the time. How do you not punt the football there? You can't seriously expect to convert a 4th and 25, right? Just punt the ball away and trust your defense. Instead, you go for it in an almost impossible situation, where now, even if your defense does get a stop, the Lions are in field goal range, so they'll kick the field goal to go up by 4 if it comes down to it. And then, you need a touchdown, despite the fact that your offense has not found the end zone in its last 7 drives. This feels like a really dumb decision, right? However, I've got to defend Andy Reid here, because I would have done the exact same thing. Going for it on 4th and 25 is a decision that you can definitely make a defense for, and I'm going to do that here. Welcome to In Defense Of. Let's dive right in. There's 2 things in particular that we need to look at when evaluating this decision, and why I have to defend Reid here. Number 1, if you punt the ball back to the Lions, what are the odds that you're even going to get it back? And number 2, what are the odds, realistically speaking, of converting on 4th and 25? Starting with the first point, it would be one thing if your defense was playing lights out. If your defense had gotten a bunch of stops in a row, the Lions were driving backwards routinely, and you really thought you were going to get it back, then yeah, this is a dumb decision. But you know in a situation like this, that the Lions are going to run the ball and force you to burn your timeouts, because one first down ends it. If the Lions pick up 10 yards, that's the ball game. If you can stop the Lions from running the ball on 3 straight plays, then yes, you should punt the ball away here and try your chances again on offense with about 1:30 left, a new set of downs, and no timeouts to go about 30 yards to get into field goal range. But with the way the Lions were running the ball, and with the way the Chiefs were unable to stop the run, I don't blame Reid one bit for thinking that if the Lions touched the ball again, that this would be the ball game. What you're watching right now is just a sample of some of the runs that the Lions had during the 4th quarter of the contest. 9 of these runs went for positive yardage. 7 of them went for at least 3 yards. Most importantly, in the 4th quarter, the Lions picked up, prior to the final drive, 47 rushing yards. They were averaging 4.7 yards per carry in the fourth quarter prior to the final 2 minutes of the contest, where we wouldn't know what happened yet, obviously. The Lions were gashing the Chiefs throughout the final period, even scoring the game-winning touchdown on the ground from David Montgomery. Jahmyr Gibbs, the team's first-round pick, was averaging 6 yards a carry, and was bouncing off of Chiefs defenders all night long. You really trust this Chiefs defense that was allowing close to 5 yards per carry in the fourth quarter on a pretty substantial sample size to make the stop in the clutch? And even if the Lions decide to throw the ball and get the Chiefs to bite on a play-action pass with a tight end coming across the middle or in the flat, where Goff can just eat the play and take a 2-yard sack to keep the clock running if the Chiefs ran it all the way, you think the Chiefs can stop that play? When Goff targeted his tight ends and Sam Laporta and Brock Wright 7 times, and they had 7 catches? The short yardage defense was not there for Kansas City, especially in the fourth quarter. Andy Reid was 100% right. If the Lions touched the ball again, odds are they were going to win the game. Patrick Mahomes would not get another opportunity to possess the football after this drive. Okay, so with that element out of the way, what about the odds of picking up 4th and 25? The odds are obviously stacked against you. Again, since 1991, in terms of a true conversion from that distance or longer, only 9 times has it been picked up. But if anyone's going to do it, Patrick Mahomes can. This is not like putting your faith in a quarterback who can't throw the football. This is putting your faith in a quarterback who has a cannon of an arm, who is a future Hall of Famer, who is a 2-time MVP and the reigning MVP, who is a 2-time Super Bowl MVP and the reigning Super Bowl MVP, and who is regarded by just about everyone as the #1 quarterback in the sport right now. If anyone can do it, it's Mahomes. And he already had a few big plays earlier in the game where the Lions just could not stop the deep ball. He had not 1, but 2 throws that went for over 25 yards on the day as it was, including a beautiful 3rd and 17 to Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He also had a 41-yard play where he looked for Justin Watson, but Cameron Sutton got called for pass interference. And he would have had another play of over 25 yards if Kadarius Toney wasn't an undercover agent for the Lions. So you've got a QB that has gone deep in this game before, and in situations where the Lions knew he was going deep, and he got the requisite yardage 3 times, with a 4th almost happening if Toney didn't have bricks for hands. Not that I like my odds on 4th and 25, but if I were to like my odds with any quarterback in that situation, especially with how he had been playing, it's Mahomes. And heck, he did it too. Sky Moore runs a route past the sticks, and if he just hangs onto the ball and makes this grab, a fairly routine grab by wide receiver standards in the NFL, you're looking at a first down, and we're looking at a complete non-story. I trust the Chiefs to convert 4th and 25 more than I trust the Chiefs to get a stop, stopping the Lions 3 times on the ground, and then getting the ball back with no timeouts having to drive down the field. Not that it's really that relevant to the situation at hand or the play itself, but I noted earlier that the odds of converting 4th and 25 or longer are pretty slim. It's only happened 9 times in the last 30-some-odd years. But one of the times that it did happen, the man on the sidelines? None other than Andy Reid, with the iconic 4th and 26 play in the Eagles-Packers game in the 2003 divisional round. So if any coach understands the magnitude of a 4th and 25 play or longer and what to do in that situation, it's Andy Reid. Just saying. And after the game, Andy Reid had a very simple explanation for why he went for it, which is what you can probably expect. Said Reid, "I thought that we needed to do that at that particular time. They had driven the ball on us, so I thought it was important that we gave that a shot while Mahomes still had some time on the clock." Again, the logic adds up. If you think that the Lions are going to pick up a first down, you go for it there. No questions asked, because 1 first down for the Lions ends the game. And with the way Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes and had gone deep with success throughout this game in his career, and with the way your defense was playing, which was not very good, especially on the ground, again, I can't blame Andy Reid for deciding to pull the trigger and go for it here. Sure, it didn't work out, but punting the ball and giving it back to the Lions, in all likelihood, would have resulted in the exact same outcome. Because while there were definitely some coaching decisions that you could criticize from this game on both sides, this is one decision that you can definitely make a defense for. Get your official Jaguar Gear 9 merchandise by going to jj9shop.com, and be sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps the channel out a lot. Join me every Wednesday night where we'll play NFL Trivia for cash prizes at 9 p.m. Eastern over on Twitch. To learn more about the history of college football, subscribe to Jaguar Gator 8. To learn more about the history of Major League Baseball, subscribe to Jaguar Gator 7. Also, special thanks to all of our Patreon supporters for helping out the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. See how you can become a patron and request future video topics in the description below.